thicky bone-chilling with stories. Discover what haunts you while you sleep in the darkness now. The woods were alive with something unnatural that night. Moonlight leaked through the thick branches, casting ghostly shadows that danced over the ground like they were trying to escape the secrets hidden beneath the surface. Whispers echoed among the trees, low and menacing, as if the very earth was trying to warn anyone brave enough to tread there. That place was notorious stories of hikers disappearing, strange footprints leading nowhere, and distant screams that vanished into silence. But nobody knew the truth of those woods until now. It all started with the old ranger, Tom. He had all the answers, or so everyone thought. With his weathered skin and eyes like dark pools, folks whispered he could speak to the spirits that roamed the forest. He would often laugh, saying stories kept the woods alive. But one chilly evening, he stumbled into the diner, his breath ragged and his hands shaking. His stories had turned into a chilling warning. There was something out there that even he couldn't explain. Something that made his heart race and his voice tremble with fear. As the clock ticked past midnight, locals crowded around to hear him speak, their eyes wide, mouths agape. "I saw it," he shouted, slamming his palm on the sticky counter. "A figure, pale and gaunt, staring right at me. It wasn't human, not anymore." A hush fell over the room. Forks clinked against plates, a child gasped, and even the jukebox seemed to fade into the background. Suddenly, a loud knock broke the silence. The diner door swung open, revealing a girl soaked to the bone, her face drawn and white as the moonlight outside. She stammered, words spilling out like rainwater. "They're coming for me. The voices, I heard them in the woods." Her wild eyes darted around the room, and that S when Tom's face blanched. "We have to go back," he yelled, grabbing his flashlight, the beam slicing through the darkness. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. But Tom was too late. The girl was already out the door, running into the night, her scream fading as the woods swallowed her whole. "We have to find her," someone shouted, panic rising in the room. But how could they venture into that darkness? Courage was quickly replaced with dread. Tom's mind raced as he recalled the stories, the creature lurking, twisting shadows, and blinding eyes. What if it was too late for them all? The diner was filled with murmurs of disbelief and fear, hearts pounding like thunder. What had they unleashed? And as the door swung shut again, a chill swept through the room, leaving everyone breathless. What waited deep inside the heart of those woods? Would they dare to uncover the truth or remain forever haunted? Panic soared in the diner. Faces turned pale in the flickering light, eyes darting toward the door the girl had vanished through. "Someone has to go after her," a voice yelled, but fear clung to the air like the thick fog outside. No one moved. Tom's heart thundered in his chest. He could feel the urgency surging through him as he grabbed his flashlight tighter. The woods weren't merely dangerous. They were alive in a way that twisted the very core of reality. Shadows expanded and contracted, almost like fingers pinching the light itself. Dread pulled in his stomach, but he knew they had no choice. "I'll go." He blinked at the crowd. A mixture of worry and doubt stared back at him. "Tom, you can't go out there alone." The voice of Sarah, a waitress at the diner, sliced through the tension. Her face was just ashen as everyone else's, and yet there was a hint of resolve in her eyes. "I'll go with you. Anyone who sees that thing should run, not follow," someone shouted back. Murmurs filled the room as suggestions flew like arrows, each idea more frantic than the last. But Tom shook his head. "We can't just leave her. If we don't go now, she might be lost." The word hung in the air like a death sentence, silencing the room. "Then I'm coming too," Sarah announced, nudging past the other diners. "We'll find her together." With a hesitant nod, Tom turned toward the door. It loomed darkly, a portal leading to the unknown. As they stepped outside, the cold air sliced through them. Every sound seemed amplified: the crunch of their boots on gravel, the rustle of branches whispering, the night itself holding its breath. "Stay close," Tom instructed, flicking on the flashlight. It flickered ominously before settling on a steady beam. Shadows danced, and the forest enveloped them, a void hungry for warmth and life. As they made their way down the familiar path, the weight of the woods began to press down on them. Branches stretched like skeletal hands, and a chill seemed to pulse with every heartbeat. Tom scanned the ground for signs, for any remnants of the girl. "Over here," he called suddenly when he noticed a patch of wet leaves. Sarah knelt beside him, her face close to the earth, and gasped. "Tom, look! Footprints!" They were small and hurried, a girl's foot clearly visible among the leaves. Their hearts raced with renewed hope, but the wind seemed to whisper something sinister. The voices. The girl had mentioned voices, and suddenly Tom could hear them, too light and taunting. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, almost afraid to speak too loudly. There it was again, a murmur riding the wind. Just barely, but enough to make the hair on the back of his neck stand up. He squinted into the trees where the darkness was thickest. Shadows moved, just beyond the reach of the flashlight. "Maybe it's her," Sarah insisted, trying to snap him out of his daze. Tom shook his head, gripping the flashlight like a lifeline as they pressed deeper into the woods. Shadows flickered, and every twist of a branch felt like a ghost's breath on their necks. "We have to be quiet," he cautioned, but inside, his heart thundered even louder. Then they heard it, a wail that pierced through the quiet woods, echoing in a way that felt hauntingly familiar. "No! It can't be!" Tom felt the cold grip of reality settle in. The sound of desperation was unmistakable. It was the girl. Without thinking, driven by adrenaline, they rushed through the underbrush, following the sound as it grew louder, mingling with the forest's whispers. Each step felt heavier as dread washed over them. What if they were led into a trap? What if— The wailing stopped abruptly, swallowed by an unnatural silence. The forest held its breath once again. "Where is she?" Sarah whispered, fear creeping in. "Check around," Tom shouted, his voice breaking the stillness. But before they could react, a figure appeared between the trees, pale and gaunt, its eyes glinting with an unholy light turned back. It screeched, with a voice that was both familiar and foreign. And just like that, their very souls hung in the balance of the wood's dark. Game. What had they stumbled into? Would they escape the grasp of the woods, or were they destined to join the girl, forever? Tom's heart raced as the figure stepped closer, the beam of his flashlight illuminating a face twisted in agony. It looked like the girl, yet the greenish pallor of its skin and the way its eyes bulged made it something more sinister. Fear wrapped tightly around his throat like a noose. "Is that?" Sarah's voice trembled, jaw slack with shock. "Stay back," Tom barked, instinctively pushing Sarah behind him as they stumbled backward, crashing into the underbrush. The thing outside the flickering light seemed to swell with its own energy, a specter drawn from their worst nightmares. "Turn back!" It screeched again, a sound that scraped the very bones of the forest. "Why are you doing this?" Tom shouted, desperate to connect with whatever it was. "It calls for you." Its voice slithered into their ears, layered with 1,000 whispers. "Return or be consumed." The weight of the darkness pressed in around them, stifling their breaths. Tom felt the damp air thicken, clammy fingers of dread trailing up his spine. Consumed? Sarah echoed, her face pale with panic. What does that even mean? Listen. Tom struggled to hear over the pounding of his pulse, as the whispers grew louder, echoing his own thoughts, taunting. We can't trust it. But the specter only grinned, revealing gnarled teeth. You think you can remain here? She will join us. They all do unless you leave. Leave? Tom looked at Sarah, then back at the ghastly figure. Hope wrestled with terror inside him. We can't abandon her. The depths of the woods don't forget, but you might, the creature replied, its laughter slicing through the thick mist like a knife. Frantic energy surged through Tom as he stepped forward, light flashing toward the creature. Where is she? He demanded, each word filled with a mix of fury and desperation. She waits, she always waits. The thing pointed deeper into the woods, its long fingers curling like dead branches reaching for him. Follow me, if you dare. Tom's thoughts raced. Was he really going to trust it? The female form of their lost companion writhed in the shadows of his mind. Did he have any other choice? He glanced back at Sarah, whose eyes shimmered with uncertainty. Tom, she whispered, clenching her fists. Fear tangled with resolve as he watched her. We can't let her just fade away. Swallowing hard, Tom took a deep breath. We follow it. But we're together. If anything happens, stay close, Sarah finished, her expression hardening with determination. Taking a step closer to the shimmering figure, Tom felt his courage wavering as the shadows pressed in like storm clouds. The creature twisted, leading them further into the dark abyss of the forest, and with every step, the whispers grew louder, rising to a deafening crescendo. Join us, join us. Foreboding swamped Tom. Time stretched like a taut string, every second dripping with uncertainty. He looked at Sarah, whose eyes radiated both horror and defiance. In this haunted expanse, they were not merely searching for the girl. They were drawing closer to a confrontation that would test the limits of their sanity. The underbrush crunched beneath their feet as they moved deeper, into the very heart of the nightmare. Lights flickered in their peripheral vision, tiny glimmers dancing just beyond the reach of the flashlight, a beckoning, tormenting dance. Then, the wailing started again, but this time it was layered, multiple voices calling out in agony. Tom's stomach dropped as he realized he didn't just hear the one girl anymore. There are more, he gasped. Tom! Sarah shouted, terror blaring in her voice. We have to turn back. But before he could respond, the air around them shifted. The whispers turned ominous, pulling at their minds, each echo tugging harder. Shadows twisted and reached out, almost living. Their breath hitched as the truth clawed its way to the surface, a truth darker than night, more potent than fear. The woods were hungry, and they had come for a feast. As the howls grew louder, Tom began to understand what consumption truly meant. The woods wouldn't just take their lives, they would consume their very souls. Do you see? The creature hissed, eyes burning with unholy light. It smirked, showing rows of jagged teeth. You can't escape, none ever do. In that moment, Tom felt the chill of despair settle over him. He hurled the flashlight toward the figure, plunging them into darkness. A sickening cacophony erupted, a looming tempest of anguished cries and hoarse laughter. What would fate have in store for them now? As the shadows charged forward, a single thought slipped into Tom's mind. Could they defy the darkness, or were they already lost? The impenetrable darkness stretched before them, and as they stood together, hearts pounding, the female whales split the night once again. Would they dare take that last leap into the unknown? Or would they succumb to the very fate they feared? The darkness swallowed them whole. Tom's ears rang with the cacophony of cries, his heart hammering as he stumbled back against Sarah. She gripped his arm, her breath warm against the chill settling in the air. The flashlight lay on the ground, sputtering and flickering like a dying star, casting brief shadows that danced menacingly. "Tom, what do we do?" Sarah's voice trembled, cutting through the chaos. "I don't know," he shouted back, desperation gnawing at him. "We have to get out of here." A cacophony of groans echoed around them, an unsettling symphony that churned Tom's stomach. With every breath, he could almost taste the fear in the air, thick and oppressive. He turned his head, catching glimpses of shadowy figures stretching and curling at the edges of the dim light, their shapes shifting like smoke. They were alive. They were hungry. "Do you think we can run?" Sarah asked, her eyes wide with terror. Tom searched the pitch-black woods that surrounded them, the weight of the whispers digging into his thoughts like splinters. "We'll never make it," he yelled. The memory of the girl's face flashed and his mind twisted, pleading. "We can't leave her." But Sarah's face twisted with uncertainty. What if it's all a trick?" "Then we'll face it together," Tom said fiercely, pulling her closer. But deep in his heart, the dissonance grew. Wasn't he the real trick, trusting the creature that plagued their minds? The figure's silhouette loomed nearby, watching them with gleeful malice. "Isn't this fun?" it crooned, its voice dripping with enthusiasm. "The little light, the big darkness, it's a game. Playtime." Tom ground his teeth, fighting the urge to lash out. "Shut up," he snapped, a flicker of defiance igniting in him. "Where is she? Where is she?" The creature mimicked mockingly, its laughter like nails on a chalkboard. "She is near, but you must linger long. The woods are hungry, and time runs out like sand." Tom's mind raced. "Then guide us to her." The specter curled further into the shadows, eyes gleaming wickedly. "Oh, I will. But come closer, you might want to feel how delicious the darkness can be." Suddenly, the shadows surged, a pulse of energy that vibrated through the air. Tom's breath hitched as figures lurked out of the gloom, ethereal faces shifting, blinking painfully in and out of existence. Disembodied arms emerged from the shadows, flailing with frenzy, reaching, always reaching. "Tom, we can't!" Sarah cried, her terror crackling in the air. But the call of the captive girl echoed in his ears, sweet and haunting. He could almost see her silhouette in the darkness, beckoning for him. "Follow me," she seemed to whisper, her breath mingling with the wails around them. "Please don't leave me. Sarah, I have to get her." Before she could respond, Tom bolted forward, propelled by desperation and dread. The shadows clung to him, sticky and suffocating. With every step, the forest warped around him. Twisted branches and gnarled roots seemed to rise up in opposition, as if recognizing his intent. Suddenly, a grasping force latched onto his ankle, dragging him down. Panic coursed through him, and he swung his flashlight like a weapon, barely keeping the encroaching darkness at bay. "Sarah! Help!" he yelled, fighting against the pull. But he felt her slip away, the shadows devouring her scream as she slipped into a void. No! It was too late. A flash of blinding light erupted, one lone beacon amidst the encircling shadows, illuminating a path ahead. With sheer will, Tom pushed against the grasp, lunging towards the light, ice-cold fingers clawing at his back. The wailing crescendoed, unfurling his deepest fears. "Tom!" The voice cut through the chaos. Sarah's terrified shout. The light beckoned him closer, shimmering like salvation. Almost there. But was Sarah behind him? All that mattered was getting to the girl, saving them both from the clutches of this cursed darkness. As he merged into the blinding glow, the world warped around him. Was it salvation or a trap? Had he just sealed their fate? Tom swallowed hard as a chilling realization settled over him. In this spectral realm, he wouldn't just have to fight for the girl, but for Sarah too. What awaited him just beyond that blinding light? The blinding light enveloped Tom, washing over him like a wave, scattering the shadows that clung to his skin. He gasped, the warmth breaking through the icy grip of fear. But as soon as the light dimmed, he found himself standing in a clearing surrounded by trees that twisted upward, gnarled branches stretching like grasping fingers. "Where am I?" he whispered, panic creeping back in. The air felt thick and stale, a strange buzz humming around him, almost like electricity. "Tom," a soft voice whispered, echoing through the crisp night air. He spun around, breath hitching. There she was, the girl, barely visible in the dim light, her delicate features etched with worry. "Help me." His heart leaped. Is that you?" Her gaze flicked around, as if she sensed the shadows lurking just out of sight. "You have to hurry." A chilling laugh burst from the trees, silencing her. "You'll never catch her," the creature taunted, slithering partially into the light. Its eyes glittered like shards of glass, reflecting every fear Tom had faced since stepping into this nightmare. "No! Let her go!" Tom shouted, rage boiling within him. He took a step toward the girl. "Hold on," she pleaded, trembling as the shadows writhed around her. "Tom, it's a trap." But it was too late. The shadows surged forward, merging into an undulating mass that threatened to swallow them both. Tom's breath quickened as the creature unfurled its gnarled limbs, a grotesque smile stretching across its face. "Do you think light can protect you here?" it sneered, swiping at Tom. He ducked, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Drawing on every ounce of will, he bolted toward the girl, desperate to reach her before darkness claimed them. "Tom! Get away!" Her scream pierced through the chaos as the creature lunged again, its cold breath washing over him, filled with a rancid hunger. He felt the icy fingers brush his shoulder, a paralyzing chill that threatened to freeze him in place. "No!" he roared, pulling free with a surge of instinctive fear. In that moment, he recalled Sarah's face, the fear in her eyes, when the darkness claimed her. He couldn't let that happen again. With renewed determination, he charged at the girl, the darkness swirling, clawing at him like desperate hands. "Just a little closer," the creature goaded, its voice dripping with mockery. "Tom, please!" the girl cried out, urgency twisting her words. The shadows closed in, tendrils wrapping around Tom's legs, tugging him down, dragging him away from her. With desperate strength, he tore one leg free and kicked. "I want to leave you," he insisted, eyes locked onto hers. Suddenly, a loud crack split the air as an ancient tree near him split in two, its trunk weakening from the sheer weight of the darkness. "No!" the creature howled, recoiling as if the light could harm it. For a heartbeat, Tom could feel its grip loosen. "Now!" the girl urged. Tom lunged. Just as he reached her, the light around them pulsed, a heartbeat that brightened the clearing and cast shadows backward, momentarily pushing the darkness away, a glimpse of hope. But in that moment of distraction, the creature howled with rage. "You will forget her!" it shrieked, the shadows sharpening into jagged shapes. Ready to strike. As he grasped the girl's hand, he felt a coldness inject into him, memories of Sarah mixing with shadows in his mind. Would grasping the girl's hand cost him everything? "Tom!" Sarah's voice echoed again, a soft whisper fluttering through the clearing as another surge of light crackled. Suddenly, the choice crystallized before him. "Hold on!" he yelled, gripping the girl's hand tighter, feeling both strength and weakness surge in his chest. "Together, Tom. We can fight!" she encouraged, her voice steady despite the chaos. With a shared breath, he braced himself, knowing they would either break through the veil of darkness or be lost forever. But as the shadows surged forward, wrapping around them both, he could feel the weight of the creature's malice pressing down, the light flickering wildly like a heartbeat on the verge of demise. What would the ringing laughter pull them into now? And how much longer could he hold on to hope? The darkness clamped down like a vice around Tom and the girl, tightening with every heartbeat. It was alive, hungry, and intent on devouring every scrap of their hope. As the shadows swirled, Sora's eyes never left Tom's, filled with determination and fear. "Focus!" she shouted over the creature's roar, her grip steady as the shadows coiled around them like serpents. Tom felt the energy ebbing from the light, fraying like a worn rope. "I won't let you go!" He squeezed her hand tighter, willing the warmth of their connection to push back against the cold. With a deep breath, he recalled Sarah's laugh, not an echo of despair, but of joy, igniting a flame of defiance in his chest. "We need to fight it together," he asserted, the realization dawning that they were stronger united than alone. The creature hissed, its breath a foul mix of decay and darkness. "You think you can resist? You'll lose her, just like you lost the other." A piercing pain shot through Tom's skull as memories of Sarah flooded back. Moments they shared, the laughter, the warmth, each flash a dagger in his chest. Could he handle the weight of 2 lives? He know. "Tom!" Sora's voice broke through his haze, steadying him. "We have to move." He plunged deeper into the chaos around them. With every step, the shadows clawed and scraped, seeking to pull him away, but he and Sora pressed on. The clearing flickered like a faulty bulb, light flickering brighter as they treaded forward, one foot in front of the other. "Do it, Tom. Remember the light," Sora urged. Tom nodded, and in his mind, light flooded the forest. It burst into existence, sunlight on a warm summer day, the glow of candles at night, the moon breaking through storm clouds. Breathe. Fight with the light. With a tremendous effort, he summoned the memories, exploding them outward like fireworks. "We are here," he bellowed, the heat of his defiance radiating through the gloom. Suddenly, the shadows recoiled. The creature shrieked, a sound so horrid it vibrated through Tom's bones. "You think you can beat me with memories? You will remember nothing." "Together," Sora yelled, her voice like steel. They locked eyes again, their minds sinking, energy surging, light radiating from their connection. The ground beneath them trembled, pushing back against the shadows. The shimmering light extended like a protective barrier, illuminating the night. "Keep fighting," he urged, feeling the cold tendrils of the creature retreating. "Don't let it seep in." But as they pushed against the darkness, a deep rumbling echoed a warning. "You cannot win. I will consume her thoughts. I will feast on your failures." The shadows slithered towards Sora, shapes twisting, morphing into the nightmares of her past. Faces flickered, friends lost, moments of only despair. Their connection frayed momentarily. She gasped, pain slicing through her eyes. "Don't listen to it," Tom shouted, pulling their hands together tighter, the sheer force of their joined will igniting flames in the darkness. "I won't lose another," she cried back, rallying, defiance burning bright in her voice. But as Tom felt the resolve strengthening, a breeze whispered through the clearing, chilling every bone in his body. Endless memories flashed before him, moments with Sarah twisted with their current battle. Every shade tugged at his heart, a relentless ache that pulled him down. "Stop fighting me!" The creature roared, fury boiling behind its hunched features, inky blackness pooling around its feet. In a moment of stillness, Tom felt a flicker of doubt. The connection wavered, shadows creeping toward them, licking at their ankles. "Focus, Tom. Don't lose sight of us." Sora breathed, urgency seeping into her words. He nodded, struggling to hold the line against the creature's grip. The air thickened, almost suffocating, as the creature sneered, "You will soon fold. Your minds will be mine." As the laughter surrounded them, Tom's heart raced, the sound a chilling foreboding that threatened to drown out Sora's voice. How could they hope to withstand this darkness? What if this was more than just shadows? What if it were a manifestation of every failure he'd ever faced? With a breath, he faced the hellish creature. Could they outrace it? Could they shatter the darkness that sought to consume them whole? And as the shadows surged once more, Tom understood. It was a fight for more than life, it was a battle for their very souls. Could they find a crack in the abyss to claw their way back to the light? The shadows writhed like a living thing, coiling tighter around Tom and Sora, as panic tightened its grip on Tom's chest. He felt the weight of desperation, an icy clutch around his heart, threatening to crush it entirely. "Sora!" he shouted, the urgency clawing at his throat, raw and jagged. "We can't let it break us." "I know." Her voice shot back, fierce yet strained, her eyes flickering with determination. "Remember your light. Focus on us, Tom. Don't let it pull you under." With every ounce of strength, Tom centered himself in the warmth of their connection. Memories flooded back, running through fields, laughing at stupid jokes, dancing under the stars. All of it danced in bright colors compared to this hellish gloom. "Together!" he shouted, channeling their shared memories into a radiant beam of defiance. The darkness hissed and recoiled, like a wounded animal, but it was only a brief retreat. Voices whispered inside the shadows, each taunt more sinister than the last. "Do you see the futility? You will never escape your past." The creature's voice slithered through the air, oily and foul, invading his thoughts. "Look at her. She is already slipping away just like the others." "No!" Tom screamed, a wild panic rising within him. The world spun, and he grasped onto Sora tighter. "You want to take her?" "Not now." He found a surge of anger, a protective force that burned hotter than the shadows. Now was not the time to falter. Hope flickered within him, fragile yet glowing. In that moment, Sora's light ignited alongside his, illuminating the dark with pure determination. The creature shrieked, its figure swirling like smoke, anger manifesting in a storm of shadows. "What are you?" it screeched, rage boiling through the endless void. "You are nothing. I will feed on your insecurities." Tom met the creature's wrathful gaze. "We are something. We're hope. We're not afraid." Around them, the ground trembled, shaking loose a vortex of swirling darkness and light. The shadows twisted like snakes, darting towards Sora, who stood resolutely. "No!" she shouted, stepping forward into the fray. "I want to be a prisoner of my past. You don't own me." With every declaration, she flared with light, pushing the shadows back. For every lost friend the darkness showed her, memories morphed into images of strength, of resilience, of triumph. "Fight it, Sora!" Tom urged, his voice breaking but filled with passion. "Remember who you are?" The air crackled as light surged between them in brilliant waves. With renewed strength igniting their hearts, they pulled together, forging a path against the malevolent creature. But as they surged forward, the ground below split open, revealing an abyss that threatened to swallow them whole. Fear washed over Tom like a cold wave. "Tom!" Sora yelled, panic creeping into her voice. "We need to keep moving. It's going to split us apart." The dark chasm yawned wide, its depths filled with writhing shadows, pulling at their legs. Tom could feel the cold creeping beneath his skin, tugging him backward, threatening to drown him in despair. "Hold on!" he shouted, wrenching their bodies away from the abyss's pull. But the creature wasn't done. It lunged, a mass of darkness, with a single twisted intention. "You will not escape this time. I will strip you of everything you hold dear." A howl of torment erupted from the creature, raw with malice, but Tom and Sora stood firm, clinging to their memories, to each other. In that swirling chaos, could they find a way to push through? As the shadows coiled tighter, every heartbeat pulsed with urgency, driving them both to the edge of desperation and hope. Could they forge a light intense enough to vanquish the darkness? Or were they bound to become another whisper in the endless night? The howl of the creature echoed through the darkness, reverberating in Tom's bones. He felt the world narrow, the abyss closing in and spotlighting the intensity of their struggle. Time warped around them. Seconds felt like hours as they fought the relentless tide of shadows. "Sora, trust me," Tom blurted, his heart pounding. He gathered every ember of bravery he could muster. "We need to let go of what holds us back. We have to rise above it. I don't understand." Her voice was a thread of fear woven through her fierce resolve. The shadows crawled closer, their raw breath chilling against her skin. "Let the past go," he urged, locking eyes with her, hoping to ignite the spark of understanding. "All those memories, the pain, it's only giving it power. We're stronger if we fight together, not just against it." Sora hesitated, uncertainty flickering across her face. The darkness hissed, its whispers now menacing, clawing at her insecurities. "You think you can change the outcome? You're just a pair of foolish dreamers. Your strength is nothing." With that, Tom tightened his grip. "No, we're not foolish. We're alive. That's more than enough." He focused on the pull of her warmth, the light they had created together. "Focus on the good, the laughter, the joy. Please." It flickered in Sora's eyes, the tiniest glimmer of light, the memories intertwining with her fear, battling for dominance. "Tom, I can't. Fight it. Fight for us." The ground crackled beneath them, a tumultuous reminder of the chasm waiting to devour them. In an explosive burst, the shadows lashed out, thrashing like angry serpents. Sora's expression shifted as realization took root. Together she whispered as strength shimmered in her resolve. Tom felt her transformation, the flickers of light dancing in tandem with his. "Together," he echoed. They exhaled in unison, pushing against the grip of the malevolent force, creating a radiant barrier that exploded outward, filling the space with heart-stopping light. The creature recoiled, its form flickering, unstable against the waves of their united energy. "No! This cannot be. You are supposed to fail. Watch us thrive," Tom retorted, anger mingling with hope as the shadows shrank away, struggling against the brilliance they conjured. But power came with a price. The ground beneath them shattered, sending a wave of dread through Tom's chest. "Hold on," he shouted as the fissure spread, threatening to swallow them whole. "Tom!" Sora's voice pierced the chaos, raw with urgency. The abyss quaked, its hungry maw gaping wider. They fought to stay grounded, to lift each other up in the face of despair. With every ounce of will, they embraced their memories, the laughter, the adventures, the moments that made them whole. The light swirled, majestic and fierce, slicing through the encroaching shadows. Yet, just as hope seemed within reach, the creature made one last desperate attempt, lunging forward with a roar that felt like a hurricane. "I will tear you apart. I will consume your light." And in that searing clash between light and dark, Tom realized the truth. Hope didn't come from the absence of fear, but from facing it head-on. The shadows couldn't bind them unless they let it. "Sora!" he bellowed, in that heartbeat of clarity. "Trust in us. Remember who we are." Suddenly, the oppressive weight began to lift. The beam of light ignited further, their spirits intertwining, expanding like the dawn breaking after a long night. But as they pushed against the chaos, a slice of doubt crept in, whispering insidiously in the edges of their minds. Had they really gained control? Were they truly stronger together, or was it a fleeting respite? As the creature writhed, their light shining with fierce intensity, a terrifying realization gripped Tom. Retreat wasn't an option, but victory seemed distant. If they stumbled now, could they survive the storm? The questions hung heavy in the air, shadows lurking in the fringes, waiting to pounce. What awaited them on the other side of this trial? Would their bond hold, or would the darkness finally claim its prize? The radiant light pulsed around them, warding off the creature for mere moments, But Tom felt the urgent weight of time slipping through his fingers. "Sora, we need to move." His voice was raw, thick with fear and determination. The ground trembled violently beneath their feet, fissures now gaping wide like open jaws ready to swallow them whole. She nodded, eyes sharp with a newfound resolve. "Right. Let us go." They turned instinctively toward the dim glow at the edge of the abyss, a sliver of hope shimmering in the enveloping darkness. The creature's growl, now filled with rage, echoed ominously, sending ripples of terror through them. Sora tightened her grip on Tom's hand. "There's no going back now." Her words hung between them, a tether binding their fears yet again. They dashed toward the light, the shadows writhing like serpents behind them, gnashing their unsated hunger. "Faster!" Tom urged, feeling the chill of despair nipping at their heels. Each footfall felt like a countdown, thrumming with the rhythm of his racing heart. The shadows were closing in, spitting curses that clawed at their minds. "Do you hear them?" she shouted, panic creeping into her voice. "It's trying to break us." "I know." But each taunt felt like a cold blade piercing through Tom's resolve. "It's all lies. Ignore it. Focus on the light." He could feel the ripples of doubt, a quiet but persistent whispering lurking just beneath the surface of their newfound strength. As they leapt over the last remnants of the crumbling ground, hope flickered in the face of desperation. They stumbled forward, and with a burst of energy, they lunged into the halcyon glow beyond the shadows. In that moment, the light surged, wrapping around them, but such solace was fleeting. The creature's howl erupted behind them, raw and feral, resonating through the very core of the woods. "You cannot escape me. I am the shadows, the past you want to forget." They didn't look back. Instead, they pressed further into the glow. Suddenly, a wall of shimmering light erupted, blocking the creature's advance. But as they pushed through, Tom felt an eerie pull. The memories began to swirl, images of fear and pain challenging the light. Faces from their past friends lost, failures haunting threatened to drag them under. "Tom, I can't breathe," Sora gasped, her voice rising in panic. "It's too much. Fight it," he shouted, frantic. "Think of what we have. Think of each other." She was fading, and he could feel the warmth of their bond slipping away like sand in an hourglass. Forcing his gaze to meet hers, he saw anguish mirrored back at him. "I want to let you go," he breathed, surrendering entirely to the light. The fear felt heavier now, but it was warmer because it was shared. "Together, remember? We embrace it together." The tension in the air snapped as their hands clasped tighter, their fierce memories of laughter and connection flooding back, overriding the shadows. The wall pulsed stronger, sending shockwaves of light into the forest, illuminating their path. The creature screamed, its voice shaking the leaves above them, mingled with a shriek of fury. But still, the shadows loomed dispersed but not defeated. Tom shivered as he felt remnants of cold dread flicker from the edges of the light. "What now?" he murmured, heart racing with a new kind of dread. The woods throbbed with dark energy all around, the shadows lurking like predators staling for one final strike. When would the fight end? Was the bond enough to survive this relentless onslaught? Just as they surged forward, the ground beneath them quaked, shifting like unstable earth. A familiar voice broke through the chaos, whispered and chilling. "You will never be free." Tom's heart dropped. The shadow had morphed, revealing the truth he had dreaded. Faces from his past glared back from the edges of the dark, former friends, lost in time. "What are they doing here?" he gasped, the horrifying reality winding tight around him. And as the shadows lunged once more, a new understanding dawned. This was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for their very souls. Would they conquer the darkness, or would it finally swallow them whole? Tom's heart was pounding, as he faced the parade of shadowy figures drifting within the depths of the forest. Each wraith-like face bore echoes of familiar pain, reminders of what had been lost. The creature stood behind them, its smile grotesquely wide, savoring the imminent chaos. "No!" he shouted, anger flaring hot in his chest. "You're not real. You're just shadows." The expressions of the lost friends flickered, unsure, yet the darkness tightened around them, hungry for despair. Sora squeezed his hand tighter. "Focus on us, Tom. We can push this back together." Her voice was unwavering, filled with fierce resolve. Around them, the shadows whispered malicious secrets. "You failed them. You will fail here too. You will never escape." The taunts sliced through the air like knives, and the weight of those words pressed heavily against Tom's resolve. "Shut up," he shouted. "We own our memories. They don't define us." With that proclamation, he felt the warmth radiate between him and Sora, a connection that pulsed brighter than the darkest night, a light that started small, but was growing. Fueled by their determination. As the darkness lunged, he didn't hesitate. "Together. Hold on," he yelled, assembling his courage. The brightness surged, filling the air around them, illuminating the twisted branches and threatening shadows. The creature shrieked, its form wavering. "You think this will save you? They all of them belong to me." The shadows surged forward, attempting to devour them, but Tom's heart raced, spurred by an energy born of unity and courage. Sora deepened her grip. "We have to believe in the light. Let it be our shield." The glow brightened further, pushing against the encroaching darkness, the memories of laughter, shared moments, and unbroken bonds swirling within them, filling their voices with strength. "Fight with love. Fight for each other." The light expanded, radiating brilliance as it clashed with the shadows, creating a solid wave of defiance. The faces of the lost flickered and began to dissolve, lost in the eruption of their united spirit. "Tom," Sora urged, her eyes bright with fierce determination. "We're not alone. We bring them together, bring them back." The urgency in her voice ignited a fire within him. If they anchored themselves in love and hope, the shadows wouldn't stand a chance. With every heartbeat, every shared breath, they pushed back against the darkness, a lighthouse amidst the raging storm threatening to engulf them. Memories flooded back with clarity, conversations that sparked joy, moments that nurtured strength each shared. They formed a radiant bulwark. "Go away!" Tom roared, directing his fury at the creature that fed on despair. "You will not take my friends or Sora. You will not take our light." The creature recoiled, shrieking in agony as the light surged fiercely forward, engulfing the shadows. "This isn't the end. I will come for you. You will never escape." It bellowed, but the confidence in its tone dwindled with every step the duo took into their shared memories. As the clawing darkness began to dissipate, the voices of those lost became softer, tinged with acceptance. They began to fade, smiling quietly as they were released from their shadowy prison. The echoes of laughter surrounded Tom and Sora, spiraling up into the trees, the warmth penetrating their very cores. "Don't let it linger," Sora shouted, adrenaline coursing through their veins. "Keep moving. We must escape." Together, they pressed deeper into the ever-brightening glow. Finally, with a surge of desperation, they hurled their fears into the heart of the brightness, letting love and connection drown out the remnants of despair. And as the last vestige of darkness shattered apart and scattered like ash in the wind, Tom felt the earth shift beneath them, and he stumbled, pulling Sora with him into a warm light. It enveloped them fully, washing away the cold remnants of the woods, returning life and color. Suddenly, they found themselves back at the edge of the forest, staring at the familiar diner, bathed in soft yellow light. The night air was crisp and calm as if nothing had happened. A slightly disheveled Tom and Sora gazed at one another breathless. We did it, he gasped, shock mixed with relief flooding his senses. Sora's eyes shimmered, full of life. We faced it together. Just beyond them, the door of the diner creaked open, and Tom could feel the warmth of the town's heartbeat. It pulsed with safety and camaraderie. As they stepped forward into the familiar space, Tom felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude wash over him, grateful for the fight, the love, the survival. As the door swung shut behind them, he scanned for faces, finding his community, his heart, and Sarah's laughter in the corner. They were not just survivors. They were the flame that illuminated the darkness. And that flame would continue burning bright, a vivid reminder of resilience. They shared their story with willing ears, voices rising in hope, laughter echoing loud against the woods, which carried its haunting secrets into the night. The shadows had lost, and light had triumphed, echoing the promise of connection, friendship, and the power of love. Together, they would never be haunted again. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this thrilling conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this epic ending.